They're so old.
Well, you know, again, like I
Neil
said,
Diamond is old.
yeah, he's old, but he still works out there.
He does?
No, I'm saying works out. I mean, Judy and I are going to get some stuff, $300 a piece. I wouldn't give you $15.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for being here tonight. It's really nice to see. It's nice to see familiar faces. It's nice to see happy, smiling faces. You know what? You all read the poster. You all read the playbill where it says directed by Roger Bauer, and you came out anyway. Thank you. Makes me feel good, I'm telling you. We have an interesting show for you tonight. It's a little different than what you're used to. You guys in the front row, you're in the danger zone. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. A couple of points of business I'd like to get to before I tell you a little bit about the show, just to kind of preempt you so you get your mind working with us. Number one, if you got telephones like I do, and I'm reminding myself here, would you please either turn them off or turn the ringer thing down? We appreciate that. Number two, as you know, we are a community theater. We have people out of the community that come here to work with us, not only as actors, but behind the scenes, tech, stage setup, you know, all the stuff that the concessions, all this stuff that has to be done every week, week in, week out, production in, production out. It takes a lot of people. We are growing and getting to a point where we can't do it with just 5 or 6 people over and over again. So, out on the concession stand during halftime, if you would, if you have an interest, we would sure love to start to gather lists of names of people who might like to volunteer to help us out. There are some rewards, you know, it's like Kroger's. But if we could get just a list of volunteers, somebody that might say, well, I'd be interested in helping with concessions. Doesn't mean every show, but sometimes. Or I'd be interested in helping build the set. I mean, look at this! Look at this! Hey! Yeah. All right. So, anyway, if you have an interest in any of that, maybe you'd be interested in designing, maybe you'd be interested in acting, maybe not, maybe you'd be interested in doing tech or anything. We have some sheets outside that if there's anything you might like to check off to help us once in a while, or somebody that we could just call on and say, hey, we need your help this week for this thing. Fill it out, leave it there, we'll get in touch with you. We would really appreciate the help. It means a lot to us. All right, enough of that. I'm done begging. Number two.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this isn't exactly begging, but it's the next best thing. As Mark here knows, because Mark is not only a member here of, well, a very important sponsor for us here with Cass Theater. Mark also plays a very mean trombone in the Rosenberg Symphonic Band, among other organizations. So I'm promoting. I don't know, did any of you even know we had a community band here?
Yes.
How come you didn't know that?
Yes.
How come I never see you out there? Huh?
That's a good question.
Good question, yeah. All right, so at any rate, we do. We have an up-and-coming community symphonic band. And it's made up of adult and young people players, like me, like Mark, like Michael Gallegos, who you'll see out here, and several others. Again, we're volunteers. We're a community band for the community. And we perform for the community at no charge. So, what I'm doing now is I'm promoting the upcoming concert on April 26th over here at the First United Methodist Church, Avenue J and 3rd, along about. It'll be an outdoor concert. Free! Can't beat free! And if the weather turns bad and rains, we'll move it inside. Not a problem. I'm inviting you to come out and see your own Rosenberg Symphonic Band in action. I think you'll be impressed. Enough of that. Third thing, along the lines of cast theatrical. We've been here for 25 years now. Hopefully we ain't going away. But the things that we do, the improvements that we have to make, the upkeep that we have to do, it all costs money. So we don't ask you for money just for the sake of getting money. If we need to earn a little bit more money, we're going to do something for it. One of the things that we're going to do is to put on an additional performance, 2 shows, May 13, which is a Friday. Let me get my dates right. May 15, which is a Friday. May 17, which is a Sunday. Friday evening, 8 o'clock. Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock. It is a really wonderful, funny Anton Chekhov one-act play, a comedy, a very sarcastic comedy. I think you'd like it. One-time shot. Well, 2 times, okay? One time Friday, one time Sunday. $10. All that money is directed toward some specific things that we need to get done here. I think you'd have fun. I think you'd laugh your butts off, and some of you could use that. but I think it'd be fun. So I'm inviting you to mark those on your calendars. May 15, May 17. Okay, enough advertising. Is it hot in here to you? You guys feel hot?
No.
Yes.
It's just me.
Don't go by her.
A little bit about the show that you're about to see. This is you were hot, weren't you?
We're gonna even ourselves out like we always do.
All right. This is a little bit different show than shows that you're probably used to seeing here at Cast Theatrical. I know usually you walk in here, you come in, you say, "Oh, look at the set! Look at the work that had to be done on that set!" I know you, because I hear you talk. It's a marvelous set. Well, Bill Long's not here anymore. So, this is what I designed.
Awesome.
I designed it. My son Tim built it.
Get Bill back. Trap doors.
But there's a reason, okay? I want you to understand this. A company of Wayward Saints is a traveling troupe of improvisational comedians. Okay? And they go from town to town, setting up their little tent, their little portable theaters. And so everything they have is minimal. A minimal stage, minimal props, because what they do is they work off of improv. Somebody sends them a note that says, "Hey, improv this." And they go backstage and they talk about it, and they come out and they improv. So, the reason this stage is simple is because that's all they could carry with them. It's a simple stage. So when they're performing out here, this is what you're supposed to see. When they're performing back here, you're not supposed to see that. Okay? Keep that in mind. That's backstage. That's privacy. That's where they get together and they plan, they think, they argue. Not yet! We have a prologue, which is where you're introduced to everybody. We have an Act 1, which sets up the agitation between everybody, and we have Act 2, which is the resolution. Now, I don't know what they're doing, but let's kind of take a sneak peek here. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, yeah. Cried all the time. Well, you ain't cried around me, you ain't no friend of mine. Damn your eyes to 14 kinds of hell. Why is the curtain up?
It's time to begin the play.
Oh, it is not time.
It is 8:30. Yes, indeed, 8:30. The advanced publication said curtain time 8:30.
Ah, and if the publicity read, this performance will be followed by a cast orgy. Would you bring champagne?
Oh, that's different. I didn't see anything about an orgy.
God preserve my profession from the dedicated amateur. What do you learn, father of imbeciles, and professional theater? An 8:30 curtain never rises before 8:45. Damn it! What are we going to do? The company isn't assembled, Harlequin isn't here.
Harlequin is never on time. He is presumably very busy outselling his actresses in order to pay for our rooms. Or, on the other hand, he's selling himself to the innkeeper's wife for the same reason.
What are we going to do? I'm getting tired.
Well, I could do my specialty.
Oh, no. We don't want any problems with the police this early in the evening. Wonderful actress, but she drinks, you understand?
Are you certain? I can't find anything here about an orgy. It wasn't certain. It certainly wasn't for this evening.
Moron, can't you understand? The show has begun, and we don't know what to do.
Worst winter we've ever had. Global warming, you know.
Why are you so upset? Aren't we artists? And isn't our art improvisation? So, let us improvise.
Without rehearsing?
Harlequin said that you were in charge of the company until he returned. Well, I think it's a case of the blind leading the blind. Why don't you talk to them? Explain the situation.
Yes, explain the situation. Good evening!
Sheer poetry.
I should begin by apologizing.
Oh, well, there's positive thinking for you.
I should apologize for the lack of scenery.
Ass! If you had kept quiet, they might have thought it was some kind of theatrical experiment. A foreign innovation, something radical from Germany, perhaps.
But my colleagues and I are comedians.
That's with 2 M's. C-O-M-M-E.
Will you please stand up and stop making a spectacle of yourself?
Child, it appears that I may be the only spectacle here this evening. If I leave, I won't be alone.
Yes, well, as I was saying, my friends and I are members of La Compagnie de Saint-Ostinati.
Oh, you wipe that grin off your face. It's not dirty.
That is to say, literally translated, a company of wayward saints. We're the last company anywhere in the world still performing the very difficult art of commedia all'improviso.
The others, having better sense, have converted to light sex comedies, and they're amassing fortunes.
Are you certain that this orgy wasn't scheduled for tomorrow night?
That is to say, the theater of improvisation. And quite frankly, we do not use scenery. Instead, we employ only this pitiful platform, the occasional strip of cloth, a few sticks, nothing more. Instead, we prefer to build castles from your childhood memories, to create worlds with gestures. In a word, we act.
Or, to speak even more frankly, we lost what little scenery we did employ during a brief but tragic encounter by our manager Harlequin with a pair of loaded dice just outside of Peoria, Illinois.
Well, I suppose it would suffice if I was to tell everybody here that there will be an orgy following tonight's performance at
The plaza, directly facing the Colonel Court building. Everyone will be expected to bring his or her own.
His or her own what?
Well, that depends entirely upon what each guest has in mind.
Where were you?
And who was she?
Where were you?
Naturally, I never expected an 8:30 curtain to rise at 8:30. All here? Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed a theatrical first. Normally, there are certain members of the audience who typically enter the theater 15 minutes late, talking among themselves and disturb the play. Tonight, the actors and those individuals have arrived together. We have had our revenge, and shortly we will begin the play.
Who was she?
Oh, later, sweet. Permit me to introduce myself. I am Harlequin. That's not my real name, of course. My real name is... well, that's of no concern. Like you, sir, I have worn this same ritualistic mask for such a long time that I have since forgotten who I am. So, if you are content in being John McClure or William Fielding, then I suppose it is sufficient for me to say simply, I am Harlequin. You've met my wife Columbine, I presume. I am sorry for the both of us.
Who was she?
Oh, wife, sweetheart, balm of my soul, is that what you think? Do you think I was sporting with some local wench and some metropolitan substitute for a haystack? What do you take me for?
I took you for better or for worse. And it couldn't be worse.
Oh, for your information. Oh, woman, and I use the term indiscreetly, I have spent the past 2 hours negotiating for our return home.
Home again? You mean it?
All the way home?
You arranged it all.
Well, practically.
Oh, why do you listen to him at all? Practically.
No, it's true. Listen, Sabino, look out there. Do you see who that is?
Certainly. It's the girl we met last night at BRVino. See me after the show, okay?
Oh, next to her, Jackal. That gentleman just arrived today on the France. That is none other than the Duke of Salvesa, Governor General of Cielo, and Defender of the Faith.
And which one of us have you sold to him?
Why do you always expect the worst? I swear by my mother.
Oh, I've met your mother. She can swear for herself.
Oh, by all that's holy, that is a gentleman of the highest order, a knight in the most noblest sense, a patron of the arts. He told me personally that nothing delights him more than seeing a group of artistes creating together in an improvisational harmony a new and vibrant work from their own individual talents and tastes to enlighten and brighten this sorry world a little.
He sounds like a colossal bore, darling. Sorry.
This Duke, will he give us the money to go home again?
Is he that rich?
Heir to fortunes. I looked him up in Who's Who among millionaires.
Well, where is he? Oh, introduce us, darling.
Your royal dukeship, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce the company. Oh, back! Perhaps I should first explain that we are all different characters, but we always play the same character in each sequence that we perform. For example, these two. Oh, always together. The lovers are the innamorati of the company. His name is Tristano, or Frank, or Kooky. But for the love of this girl, he would climb mountains, swim rivers, and go to the moon on gossamer wings. Tell them.
Well, through the dark of night, I have to go where she is. When I'm away from her, she cries blues in the night and laments the man who got away, vows someday she'll find me, and so on, ad nauseum.
Just tell them, don't editorialize.
Well, let's see. In the roles I play, I always carry this little book. The Petrarca, or Book of Manners. In its pages are rules of good behavior, well-being, and mass conformity. If you like, sir, I'd be happy to send you a copy in a plain wrapper for just 50 cents and your old address book. Yes, I want to be successful with women, learn the twist, beat the hell out of the bullies who kick sand in my face at the beaches. I want to learn how, without obligation, I can add 3 inches to my chest, 4 inches to my biceps, and 6 inches to my...
Forgive him. Like all lovers, he has a tendency to run on when he feels comfortable. Now, the girl in the romance, whose name is Isabella, or Liz, or Ingrid, etc., etc.
Tristano is my one love. We have secret names for one another. Sweetheart, soul's delight, lover, tiger. All personally sickening, but very essential to the game. Traditionally, I played the role of the calm and educated, innocent, and worldly young girl. It is usually the role that all actresses detest. Partly because we feel we never really fit the part, and partly because the general public constantly finds it difficult to separate the actress from the role. Consequently, people begin to think of me as innocent, unworldly, and unattainable. And that's ruined many a young career.
Lord Captain! I am El Capitano, Signor General, Duke of Braggadocio, hero of the great battles of Boudoir and Berdello. Barroom and billiard room. Spanish born, I can trace my lineage back to Michael the Archangel. I am a lover of music. The drum, the bugle, the massed choir of masculine voices trumpeting how they are all one together, how they will destroy the enemy over there, praising their God and passing their ammunition. Lovely. At night, I become a teller of tales, of crossing the great mountains with my elephant, of dragging my enemy's body behind my chariot around the walls of his besieged city, of how my squad stole through the enemy lines one night on the islands, risked death to erect a flag on the island's highest mountain, only to discover it was the enemy flag. I should probably wear spectacles because, as you can see, I'm short of breath, short of vision, about the length of a gun barrel. I sing of Aurelie, Lily Marlena, Lorena, Fifi, all the girls that I left behind. I'm usually pregnant. I am a seeker after beauty. Indeed you are, no matter to whom they may be married at the time.
You insult me, sir! I repeat, I am a seeker after beauty.
Indeed you are, windbag. Unfortunately, all the beauty in the world belongs to someone else, and in an attempt to seek it out, you inevitably destroy it.
Mercy, my goodness. I am not a violent man, God knows. And since I left the military, I have confined myself exclusively to politics. Because I believe that anyone who is old enough to fight for his country is old enough to profit from it a little.
Delocum melioribus.
Oh, not again.
Good evening, Your Grace, ladies and gentlemen. I am the famous physician, Dr. Magisterio of Bologna. I have matriculated at 17 universities, gaining knowledge by degrees. I can speak Latin and French badly, and almost any other language equally well. I can cure rheumatism with electric pads, sound machines, and sheep's horn. I can exorcise evil spirits, including my competitors, with aspirin and devil's masks. And in difficult cases, I can render shock treatments by the simple presentation of my bill. I can forecast the position of any star and delineate what effect it will have upon your immediate position and make a guess at tomorrow's weather. I'm not much loved, but improbus aliena virtus, semper formidiosa est.
What does that mean,
I
Doctor?
haven't the foggiest notion. You can't beat it for an extra.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is El Pantalone, the Magnifico. We rarely let him speak for fear that he would inundate us with waves of self-pity. Suffice to say, he is Venetian by birth. In that great purse of his, he carries gold coins, foreign and domestic currency, credit cards for everything, from everyone, and all the troubles of Pandora. He likes to save things, strings, stamps, time. Oh, he fathers only daughters, who eventually grow up to leave them and marry worthless creatures who then come back in to move in with him. suffers terribly with dyspepsia, gout, the French disease, and delusions of grandeur. His wife constantly nags him and is unfaithful with him with his best friend, who also happens to be his business partner and an embezzler. His roof persistently leaks. His dreaming years wasted away. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my spiritual son, Scapino. How would you describe yourself, you pigs behind?
I am courteous, kind, obedient, trustworthy, loyal, noble, and misunderstood. I'm perpetually 17. My record is impressive. I was the only child to ever get kicked out of nursery school for chasing little girls around the sandbox. At 10, I was kicked out of elementary school for chasing little girls around the cloakroom. Military school, I was kicked out my freshman year for chasing the colonel's daughter around the cloakroom. That was fun. 3 years later, I was caught stealing coats from a nightclub cloakroom. I was maturing. So later, I stole top secret papers from a certain ambassador and sold them to the enemy, his wife. Then, while posing as a Navy physician, I removed a diseased appendix in a submerged submarine with a teaspoon and an electric can opener. Yeah! But, if you really want to know me, your dukeship, come with me and my friends after the show to a little joint downstairs. There, we'll heckle the guitar player, insult a few newspaper columnists, throw a couple of punches at the big boys, and eventually perform ourselves. In a word, I am everything you secretly want to be. I am exciting, vital, dynamic, and above all, no one has ever put strings on me.
Scapino is the only man, to my knowledge, born without an umbilical cord. My dear.
Well, darling, what can one say about little me? My goal in life is very simple. Everything I can get. Isn't that ridiculously uncomplicated?
Oh, refreshing.
And my plan to achieve it is equally simple, darling. Anything I have to do.
Oh, nonsense.
That's all there is. It's really quite simple.
You sell yourself short.
No, I don't sell myself. No, that was only a ridiculous lie. Started by that dirty-minded columnist on that nasty little news.
Oh, my dear. I didn't make myself clear. Rufiana is our most popular actress. Really, she can't act at all. But there is more than one kind of entertainment, isn't there? And you have to admit, with Rufiana, her grasp is exceeded only by her measurement.
You might also add that she is vile-tempered, arrogant, insolent, and illiterate. Aren't you, bitch?
Is that good? Is that good, darling?
It's a little concern, Pat. Now, introduce me,
I'll see you later afterwards.
Columbine is my one true love. She is as shrewd as Scapino, more realistic than our lovers. She mocks Pantalone, she humiliates the doctor and embarrasses the captain, and unfortunately spends most of her time with me. Don't you, sweetheart?
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to let you think so, sweet.
Your esteemed dukeship, ladies and gentlemen, you have met the company.
Now, this Duke of yours, when will he give us the money?
He told me personally that he desires nothing more than to see a certain work performed. If we perform it well, he will pay our expenses home.
A certain work?
A work of his own hands, a new comedy, so to speak.
Oh, I knew it. Probably impossible to perform.
Does he know how we work?
I explained it to him. Just a second. Your royal dukeship. You understand, don't you, that we comedians work by improvisation only from the merest skeletal outline, enabling us to create as we work, injecting our own special material, our lazzi, as we call them. He's nodding. He understands. Look, see? Oh, and this is the soggetto he has given us to work from. Now think of it. If we perform it well, we can go home, perhaps tomorrow.
Home? It's been so long. Home seems so distant. I don't think most of us remember where or what home is.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's the matter?
No.
I knew it. It's impossible. It's an impossible scenario.
What does it say? Read it.
It's just 4 words.
Amiga, but perhaps we can build upon it. What does it say?
The history of man.
Just man, no woman, darling. Oh, won't that be a dull spectacle, your Duchess, darling?
The history of man, well, the running time would be incredible.
No, wait a minute. Maybe there's more to this that we haven't seen. The Duke is an intelligent man. There must be some reason, some approach, some new directive.
The history of man. Where would you begin?
From the beginning, and then Macte Nova Virtuta.
Oh, devil, take your virtuta.
But don't get any of that on me, darling.
I should think we might start with creation.
Yes, the creation of man. God creating man.
That has never been proven. The nihilo nihilum.
Well, something has started.
It's quite conceivable that man created himself.
It is conceivable. Man certainly has developed a talent for creating troubles for himself. But let us begin with an assumption. Let us assume that the biblical narrative is true history. We will play creation.
Very well. I will prepare myself to play the role of God.
You?
Who's more in tune to the language of the church? Who's more fit to depict all wisdom?
I will play God.
You, a braggart soldier? That's absurd. Captain, you're a sick man, and you have delusions of grandeur.
And you have a twisted ear. Why shouldn't I play God? Isn't God depicted biblically as a militant figure, striding triumphantly over the fallen angels? Doesn't he demand complete obedience and forewarn terrible punishment if he is not obeyed? That, by all that is holy, he would have made a magnificent officer.
This is ridiculous. It borders on sacrilege. I can play God better than you. You? Well, why not? Within this company, who is better situated to portray love?
But God is wisdom.
God is mighty.
Silence! Since it is apparently impossible for us to decide upon the nature of God, much less portray him, we will dispense with him altogether.
Oh, well, there's a logical solution.
Instead, we will take somewhat of a later attack. We will play the fall of Adam and Eve.
Oh, hold on. Oh, won't that pose a costuming problem, darling?
Adam and Eve were our first lovers, weren't they? So it seems logical to me that the roles be played by our own lovers, Tristano and Isabella.
Well, surely we'll need someone to portray God.
Well, that depends upon the way each sequence is improvised. If we find we need a God, we shall reduce him to an offstage voice.
And who will play the offstage voice?
Well, I will. Well, since I am your leader, but generally ignored or tolerated at best, I see a striking parallel with the Almighty.
And the serpent?
Ah, the serpent shall be subtle, lithe, crafty, and cunning. Ladies and gentlemen, your esteemed dukeship, we apologize for the delay, but we are happy to announce that we are now ready. The company of Wayward Saints performing La Commedia all'Improviso presents a new and dynamic work, The History of Man. The prologue is completed and the play begins.
another day. Does the sun shine as brightly everywhere else, I wonder? Eve, darling.
Oh.
A new day, beloved.
Oh.
Now, is that any way to greet such a day with a sigh as heavy as sleep? Look about you. This is paradise. All we need, all we could ever want. Everything is ours.
Do you know you're the coldest beat in all of creation?
What?
All night long, right in the middle of my back. Those icy flat feet of yours.
Oh, devil take her! What is she doing? Tristano has obviously established a serious tone, and she is creating a comical one.
Well, it's his fault. The subject shouldn't be that serious.
Now, is that any way to talk, Angel? This is paradise. You should be completely happy here.
All right. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Do we have any coffee around here?
Oh, damn her!
We have everything. Now, what shall we do that may please you?
What choice have
We have every choice. This is paradise. We can do everything, anything.
And what choice is there between something we want to do? Now, if there was a choice between something I had to do, like laundry, as opposed to something I want to do, like sleep, now there would be a real choice. There's a challenge.
Goody morning. Can you tell me which way is the beach?
Oh, I know you. You're the... What name did we give a species the other day?
Snake.
That's right. You're a snake.
Oh, to you I may be a snake, but we animals have our own names for each other. I prefer to be known as a king's witch.
King's witch.
Oh, much more pleasant sounding than a snake, don't you think? It has a certain air to it. King's witch. King's witch. King's witch. What species of animal are you two?
Species of animal? Why, we're humans.
Humans, that's nice. I was dickering with the creator to let me have 2 large teeth. Right there. Do you think that would do something for me? So, humans, huh? Are you reptiles?
No, we're humans, the greatest of God's creatures. God has placed us above all other animals.
That's odd. I was talking to a lion just this morning, and he seemed to think that he was above all other animals. How do you think a rattler might suit me? On my tail,
Oh, this is ridiculous. Surely you've heard of us. We're the highest order of mammals.
You're not half as large as a whale. How do you think it'd be if I could, shed my suit, say, once a year? Sort of change this skin of mine when I get bored?
Adam's right, you know. We are special.
Oh, well, at least you think you're something special. I guess that's something. I wish something could be made to make my tongue more distinctive.
We are special. We have an intellect. We can reason.
Congratulations! I'm so proud of you. There's a white rat who lives in a bramble maze just over that hill. Just yesterday he managed to make his way through the mass of thorns without a second's hesitation. He reasons, too, for a white rat. Oh, yes. We animals discuss you two quite frequently. I believe that you are the noisiest of God's creatures. For example, what was that noise you were making yesterday afternoon while you were walking with the Creator?
We were laughing.
Ah, yes, laughing well. None of us seem capable of making such obnoxious sounds. Then again, that would hardly be grounds for declaring you superior. Then again, there is always the tree.
The tree?
The tree of knowledge. Haven't you heard of it? If you're looking for a status symbol.
The tree of knowledge. What of it?
The fruit of this tree, of course. is forbidden to everyone in the garden. But you being superior to us as you claim, then it's not forbidden to you.
No. The Creator has forbidden that fruit to us as well.
Oh well. And I thought there was something significant in the fact you weren't as large as a whale.
Now wait. The Creator has made rules to keep you baser creatures under control, but He recognizes quality. He distinguishes between man and the lower animals.
Oh, if you're trying to insult me, it's useless. Admit it. This is just so much vanity on your part. Come on now. Everyone in the garden has been to the fruit of this tree. We're all alike. Oh, sure, you might walk around on two legs while I slither about on my belly, but that, after all, is just a matter of taste now, isn't it?
He's right. What has the Creator given to distinguish us between man and animal?
Why, a soul.
I knew you'd bring that mystic something or other up again. What's good is it if the other animals can't see it and recognize it as something special?
Well,
You know as well as I do that God is an artist. And, like all professional men, he has a tendency to let things slip his mind. He gave us dominion over all the animals. He forbade the fruit of the trees to the animals. He meant to exclude us. Or perhaps he presumed that we would understand that the restriction didn't apply to the higher species.
Well, I'm not...
There. It's delicious. Though a little too sour for my taste. Try it.
it's almost bitter.
Now what do you say, Nate?
Oh, what can I say? I'm impressed.
Adam! Eve! What have you done?
Must you always bellow that way? Why don't you send some nice quiet angel or something?
Oh, this was supposed to be the birth of collective man from a position mightier than the angels to less than. What a miserable sequence. Where was the human touch, the reverence? After the fall, you should feel guilty, ashamed.
Well, I don't feel guilty.
Besides, this one is a comedian, approach such subjects with reverence. We mock, ridicule, expose.
Well, that shows how much you know about acting, you acrobat. When I was with the Galactic Company, we were taught you couldn't ridicule something unless you first recognized it in yourself.
You upstage me one more time like you did at the tree at Cheap Vaudevillian, and I'll throw you back to the Galactic Company.
Now! Patience! Materium supervet! Opus!
When will you learn to speak something other than that gibberish? How in the hell can a lady improvise with a babbling ham like...
Hell! Oh, now stop it, both of you, or I'll break your heads! This is your last chance. Your final opportunity. Your royal dudeship, ladies and gentlemen, forgive us. You must understand that with our taste, temperament is our gift, as well as our curse. Now, after the fall, man tries to rediscover what he has lost.
Impossible. He doesn't know what he's lost. His mind has become clouded.
He's right. First he must rediscover God.
In the sun.
In everything.
God, the sun is God, divine each book and sacred every tree. Everyone and everything is God. Everything that is loves me. Every blessed thing loves me. Oh, wondrous, strange, the moon can change, the sun arrange each creature's destiny. The moon, the sun are powerful and great, yet all they could create was me. Godhood aspirate me. Surely God is real, and yet I feel the moon, the sun, the water, and the tree will pass away, while something else survives eternally. Would have guessed if it should be? Who would have guessed that it could be me? Now, onward through time and forward, the Greek civilization, the climax and the end of the Trojan War, a hymn to the values of family life, marital fidelity, and singular devotion. Odysseus returns to Penelope! Penelope! I have returned!
Oh, you'll find the dirty linen in the hall. Oh, and not so much starch in the petticoats.
Starch? Penelope, it's me, Odysseus!
Oh, well, where's the regular driver?
Penelope, it's Odysseus, your husband, home from the wars.
And where the hell have you been?
Where have I been? Kind of welcome home is that? I've been to war, damn it!
Well, that was 10 years ago. How did you travel? On the metro?
Well, that's a long story.
I'll bet.
Well, it's a tragic tale, a narrative, an epic poem. I was on my way home to you after sacking Troy, making a pretty good deal on some souvenirs, when I came across, and I swear on my father's beard this is true, this giant, one-eyed monster named Cyclops.
Oh, I know. And he invited you to have a drink. And then you bought around, and then he bought around, and then on and on.
Not at all! He ate half my crew. I only escaped myself after putting his eye out with a flaming stick.
Oh, so you just expect me to run to your arms after you spent 10 years serving time for making some drunk in a barroom brawl?
I was not serving time, I tell you, he was a monster!
And I suppose that's essence of Cyclops I smell on your collar.
Oh, that is a reminder of a terrifying encounter I had with a witch named Circe. May the gods destroy me if I lie. She was a witch!
Oh, you can speak plainer than that, darling.
Penelope, I swear by the beard of Zeus Flash Lightning, she changed my men into pigs.
Oh, well, that didn't take much magic. Now, if she could change those pigs of yours into men, now that would be something.
Would you like to hear the rest of the story?
Means well. Don't need to get dinner for an hour yet.
Well, after Circe, there was a terrifying experience with a nymph named Calypso.
Of course.
You don't understand. She saved my life.
Oh, dare I ask how?
I was drowning.
Oh, in drink, undoubtedly.
In the sea.
Which sea?
What?
Which sea? What was the name of it?
I don't remember.
Oh, no. But I bet you remember every measurement of that Calypso broad.
She saved my life. And after I left her, I fell into the hands of the Phaeacians.
A Greek sorority, no doubt.
A nation of seamen. And then there were the Lestragons, a kingdom of cannibals. And Cyclops. And Circe the witch. And, well, to make a long story short, it was just one damn thing after another. Oh! She stabbed me! She stabbed me! The damn hag stabbed me! I'm dying! Is that blood? It's blood. It's my blood. I'm dying!
I'll rip your belly off, you pompous pig, if you ever stand in front of me again. Well, I didn't say anything the first few times now, did I? But really, he's been doing it to all of us all season long.
She's right. The Capitano's moon belly has been eclipsing everyone in the scene with him.
What else could I do? You saw what she was preparing to do. The great Lotsie. And in my sequence, what can one do when the women insist on you two performing this or that piece of business above us in the middle of our scene?
He's right. The women have been performing the Lazzi when the scene isn't rightfully theirs. Isabella, for example.
How can anyone tell which is your best scene? They're all so bad.
Oh.
If we didn't do our special tricks, we would have none.
Oh, when I was with the Galactic, you were
Abominable.
They traded you to us for extra pantaloni and a left-handed dottore.
Silence, you imbeciles! Out there sits the one man, wealthy enough, and powerful enough, and interested enough to see us safely home. Now think what that means. No more wondering about whether we'll have a place to dress or not, or what type of audience we'll have to face, or whether or not they'll spell our names correctly on the playbill. No more anxiety about whether or not we've lost our gift to make them laugh. Now think of that, damn it! Home and peace.
Home.
It's been a long time.
Good.
What is the sequence?
After the Greeks, we have the Roman Empire.
Ah, the greatest Roman of them all, Caesar.
Yes, yes, races, races. The Royal Duke, we continue our penetrating analysis of the history of man with the fall of the Roman Empire and the Golden Age and the assassination that shook the world. The death of Julius Caesar.
Don't say he's doing.
Campania, must you shriek that way? I'm perfectly capable of hearing you. When I'm in the Senate and you're at home, I can hear you. When I'm in Carthage and you're in Rome, I can hear you. When I'm in Egypt and you're on the
Caesar,
throne,
darling, I have come to warn you. I had a dream last night that you were murdered. Oh, darling. Don't go to the Senate today. Don't go.
Murdered? Me? Jovial Julius?
No, don't go.
That's absurd. When was I murdered? When?
I don't remember all the details of my dream. Yeah, it seems we were in a strange palace with 50 handsome Praetorian guards.
Yes, go on.
And one of them had this adorable short sword, and he kept jabbing me with it.
All right, the murder.
But he was about 6 feet tall, blue eyes, and the darlingest ball just to the right of his left nostril.
But the murder?
But he kept jumping at me with that delightful short sword of his, and I swear, I fell to my knees. You know, I didn't mind it at all. Oddly enough, I seem to be rather enjoying it. Well, and he and I started to play this little game of climbing up and down over several small ladders. And yes, so suddenly, fever, attacked by a horde of Carthaginian pirates. They stormed the palace, carrying several of those adorable short swords. Their leader was this fascinating swine of a man with dark, wavy hair, with a single gold earring in one ear. He said to me in a very deep, penetrating voice of his, like Mark Antony, when he did that imitation of Cicero at Diana's orgy last week.
Oh, the orgy was last week!
Anyway, he said to me, this pirate chieftain, he said, I'm going to rip off all your clothes! And I sort of giggled a little. And then he thrust.
What of the murder?
What? What murder, darling?
You said you had a dream that I was murdered.
I did? When? Well, it does not come back to me now. You know, it must not have been very important, darling. A little heartburn, perhaps, yeah?
Give you bad dreams, yeah?
Caesar! Damn it, soothsayer! Will you stop creeping up on me?
I didn't creep up on you. Must be your underwear.
What do you want?
Caesar, beware the Ides of March.
The what?
The Ides of March.
The Ides?
The 15th.
Oh, why? Why should I beware the Ides of March?
Well, for one thing, right here, Jupiter is entwined with Venus in her 3rd house.
What does that mean?
It means trouble for Jupiter if his wife finds out.
What does that mean? You said that I had to beware of the Ides of March. Why should I be aware of the Ides of March?
Well, it's a nasty time for colds, if you know what I mean. Cold winds and those drafty togas. Let the cold air blow right up your...
Is that all? That I should be careful not to catch a cold?
Not at all. Some of those girls on the Via Flaminia are, by Jupiter's beard, it's 8:30 already.
Imbecile! Is that all you have to tell me?
Not at all. There's a touch of grip going around, and according to your stars, today is a very bad day for real estate adventures, romance, bobsledding, getting your teeth fixed, or just handling sharp instruments.
Lunatic! Go away!
Oh. Look at this. It's broken. This is the most expensive prop that I use. Where do you think I can get another one?
If you didn't insist on playing me so damn tight to that statue, I wouldn't have brushed you an inch or two to the left.
And I would have been out of the light. Wouldn't you? You'd like that, wouldn't you, you Venetian amateur?
And while we're all seething, Harlequins, you may as well point out to certain people that when a dressing room has to be shared, there are certain common courtesies.
That does not mean that you have free access to my cold cream or my poop of lipstick, darling.
Your cold cream, that was my cold cream, and so were the eyeliners and the clown line.
Oh, you big liar! I'm trying to
Sharing whatever you want.
This isn't theater. This is bedroom.
And while we're on the subject, if you're going to use this damn prop, you better learn how to control it. You damn near decapitated me with it in the scene yesterday.
If you had been in your proper position, there would have been no danger.
Anyway.
Acrobat!
Oh, damn good at it! At least the second half a step to the right, or to the left. Wait! Come back! We must go on if we are to ever go home again! Idiot! Can't you see that returning home is no longer the problem? What should concern you, imbecile, is the larger tragedy. What? We have lost the art. We are no longer a company. We have always had our disagreements, our petty annoyances, but they have never got in the way of our performance. Now, face it, Harley Quinn. We are no longer a company. We must recapture the art. We must try again. Scapino, Rufiana, I don't give a damn about your petty squabbles. Do you hear me? Capitano, I want to go home.
Harlequin, can't you see? That's our tragedy. None of us cares about each other anymore. Going home doesn't mean nothing. It's our own personal pride that matters now.
Pride? What do I care about your pride? Damn your pride to hell!
Your Royal Duke-ship. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to go outside for a smoke now, or renew old acquaintances, I would appreciate the time if you would just go out so that I may reassemble the company. We'll be back together again, I promise, in just a few minutes. So So please, please, if you'll just give me a small amount of time, and we will be back together again. I promise. There. You hear? I am not alone. We will be back together again. I promise. You have the word of Harlequin, and you know what that's worth. Your Royal Dukeship, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that the performance of the company of Wayward Saints scheduled for this evening cannot proceed.
Oh. I'm sorry.
So am I. The others? Mighty well, I guess we can finish with this performance with just 2 clowns, can't we? Why did you come back?
The show must go on.
Why did you leave in the first place?
Those amateurs. I could act circles around him 3, 4, 5 shows a night, and that mooing calf Tristano, he's like some sort of supporting player.
You are! We all are!
Oh, it's more than that. I take pride in my profession. It is an honorable, noble, yes, even blessed calling. I want to be proud of it. I want to be proud of this company, but I have to sit back and watch it being degraded and debased by those ridiculous mountebanks masquerading as artists.
Listen to me. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to take the time and the effort to tell you, because you are Scapino, Harlequin's spiritual son and potential heir, and because of that, I'm going to tell you. First, about this company. It is perhaps not the best of all possible companies, that I do not know, but this I know. Like any group of individuals in this sorry world, we have our fair share of the lazy, the ambitious, the wise, the foolish, the amoral, the industrious, the arrogant, and the ignorant. Oh, you're a brilliant actor. I don't deny that. But stop perpetually posturing like some damned royal lion rampant on a field of lilies.
I do not do that!
You're an actor, are you? Well, all that means is that you're irresponsible, irrational, incapable of an adult emotion or a universal concept without first reducing it to something personal, material, sensational, and probably sexual.
Now that is a lie!
Oh, now you just sit down and listen. We do precious little of that in this company, so it's about time you learn the art. All this propaganda about elevating the theater and the good that it does and the pleasure it brings the masses. Goulash!
Whoa.
The actor, the real actor, is in this for one reason and one reason only. The gratification, glorification, and he hopes, the perpetual deification of himself.
How can you say that? How can you cheapen your own profession? How can you live and work in this field and you feel that way?
I can say this and work in this field and feel this way because I am an actor. And I might add, I am the most powerful, dynamic, awesome figure of an actor that this sorry world has ever seen. I am the most dynamic, perceptive, intelligent, awesome figure of an actor that this world has seen in 100 generations or will ever see again in 1,000 generations. That is the tragic and eloquent testimony of every actor, writer, plumber, or nobody. The miracle is that with so much self-centeredness and arrogance that any of us ever worked together.
And I wonder, how did you discover this?
I'll show you. I'll show you what's made me look at myself. Ah, the saints come creeping in.
We thought about it.
It really is the only way we'll ever get home again, isn't it, darling?
Oh, there's motivation for you. There's a noble sense of duty to the theater. The show goes on because we really can't think of a good reason why it shouldn't. All right, but understand me. If you come back now, you come back as a member of a company, and you will lay aside your petty, self-centered arrogance and realize that a brilliant dottore is useless without a magnificent Columbine to mock him. We cannot marvel at the agility of Scapino if we fail to take note of the awkwardness of Pantalone. Listen to me and understand me. If you come back now, you must keep this thought burning before your eyes. We need one another! We need one another.
Is the Duke
Still in his chair. It is traditional of nobility that they overlook, pardon, forgive our sins, and overlook our transgressions. Scapino asked, when did I discover myself? I'll show you. I'll show you what made me look at myself. These are notes from the audience.
From the audience? Are they threatening?
They are notes sent backstage to me after you left me here. In all my years of theater, I have never seen anything quite like it. They are scribbled on playbills, love letters, laundry list, and anything they had handy in their pocket. Read them! They are yours as well as mine. They might just make you feel ashamed.
Listen to this one. I don't know how I can help you, but I must tell you, I hope you succeed. I can't explain how I feel, but if you succeed, there might be some small chance I might just find my way back home.
Oh! Same to you, fella.
Here's something constructive. It seems to me that your error lies in attempting to make sense from those events that constitute the history of man. You're searching for a pattern, some unifying order, and none exists.
This illustrious gentleman would like to meet me after the performance. He says that I remind him of his sister.
Then we shall go together and he can bring his sister for me.
Wait, listen to this one. Why did you begin at a point in history? The true history of man doesn't necessarily begin with creation and proceed from civilization to civilization. The true history of man begins with birth and ends in death.
He's talking about the history of a man.
No! Wait! This is possible. Maybe we're reading more into this than what the Duke intended. Isn't the history of man every man? From the beginning of time. No more than 3 or 4 words. Birth, adolescence, marriage, death.
Yes. Birth. Yes. The loneliness. The fear. The vaguely fearful feeling that although birth has occurred to nearly every man, generation after generation, now it happens to you, to the woman you love. And you are alone.
The old timers say you can adjust to the loneliness, even to those drums, but the climate, that's what makes us all strangers in this beautiful alien land. We never had weather like this back home.
This is home now. The climate's right, but we're wrong. From these steps, Doctor, I can watch the river down there cutting through the hills like a sharp knife, glistening in the sunlight. And on clear nights I can look up and see worlds that is the sum total of my heritage. Someday, my grandchildren will say, my grandfather built these steps, that he might trace the river at sunset and watch the stars.
It's quite a view.
Shouldn't you be inside with Anne?
Why, Mrs. Poole is with her.
Well, shouldn't you be doing whatever it is you do when someone has a baby?
Well, to tell you the truth, John, I don't do much of anything. I don't get excited and think I'm charging you for doing nothing but listening to those drums or watching the river. Well, for one thing, you won't pay the bill anyway. And for another, having a baby is, well, it's a little like facing the Last Judgment. There's a great number of people surrounding you, and, well, they're all offering suggestions and wanting to help, but it's just the woman's place. Relax, relax. When God says now, we'll all know it.
Do you believe in God?
Well, that's a question I don't know that this well-educated man can answer it in these enlightened times, but I will tell you this much. I know that God believes in me.
I don't understand. Shouldn't you be checking at least?
Time enough.
Do you have enough hot water?
For what? You planning on taking a bath?
Oh, well, when Mrs. Lewis had her last baby, you had Tom boiling water for nearly half the day.
Yeah, that's right, I did. You know, Tom's a little high-strung, and, well, boiling water kept him busy, and, well, it made him feel like he was doing something vital, but basically it just kept him out of my way.
Doctor, this is going to sound amusing, but how does a baby get born?
What do you mean, how?
Well, I know what will happen now, but that baby's been alive for some time now. How and when?
John, I've got degrees from 3 universities. One of them was fairly decent. I spent 11 years out here learning medicine alone. Another 11 years learning it all over again. I could sit on these steps and tell you everything I know about gestation, the growth of the fetus, exactly what month the baby first has toes or arms or even lungs. But to tell you how or when that little ball of flesh and bone and sinew becomes a human being, an actual, genuine member of this unfortunate race of man with his or her pleasures and desires and appetites and emotions and fears and pleasures, John, I just don't know.
But you're supposed to know. You're a doctor, the best educated man over here. Everyone in the valley comes to you for answers.
Yeah, that's right, but perhaps when they come to me for those answers, and I have to confess to them I don't have those answers, well, maybe at that moment, I'm not only the best educated man, but also the wisest man in the valley. Sit down, sit down. It's her place. You can't do a thing.
Oh, God. God. You know I'm not the most intelligent man, nor the best man. So I suppose I have no right in asking anything of you. But if you're real, and what they say of you is true, that you have some concern for us poor creatures, then I'm asking you. And I come from a line of men who have never asked anything of anyone before. But God, oh God in heaven, help her, please. For your love, for her love, help her, please. Is she?
Oh, she's not ready to go dancing just yet, but she's as well as anyone can be, for who has just brought in another man into this world.
Oh, a boy.
Yeah, that much at least this well-educated man is quite confident. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, and his father's mouth.
May I see her?
I suppose she's more attractive now, but she needs rest, so don't talk the afternoon away.
And he's a real baby.
Yes, he is, isn't he? Isn't that astounding? Are you pleased, John?
Pleased? Well, I can't tell you.
I want you to be pleased, John. I owe you that much.
You owe me?
I haven't been very honest with you these past few years, John. I want to be now. When I married you, I really thought I couldn't possibly love you anymore. Oh, I thought I loved you more than anyone or anything in this world.
And
Now listen to me. During that first full year, I didn't really love you enough. Oh, I meant to be a good wife to you. Work beside you when you needed me. Lie beside you during those long nights. Cook your meals. Mend your clothes. Keep our home clean. But I didn't really love you enough. There wasn't enough love in me to fill all those empty moments when I wish to high heaven I were thousands of miles away from the never-ending meals to be fixed, or clothes to be mended, or washed,
no,
or
and
just a little moment longer. Give me that much. A few minutes ago, Mrs. Poole held up her son for me to see. Such a perfect little man. And suddenly, I felt so ashamed.
ashamed?
Suddenly, I wanted you all the time. Not just in the mornings, or in the evenings, or when the weather kept you home. Oh, I expected that from marriage. You by my side constantly, every moment, every second. Because if I were left alone to feel the cold loneliness, I would grow to hate you for bringing me here. But when I saw that baby, that beautiful, helpless little baby, and when I realized that he was expecting me to be a woman and not just a little girl playing house, suddenly I realized how selfish, how possessive I had been, and I just felt I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy of anything so perfect, so beautifully, wonderfully perfect, and I felt so ashamed.
You sleep, Isabella. The doctor says you should sleep.
Where did she ever get that feeling, that sensitivity?
What remains for Tristano to say?
Did you notice? He called her Isabella.
Lost his character.
No. He found it. They both have. I think now our lovers now know what love is. Well?
She said that she never loved me enough. That the baby made her ashamed.
So?
Well, what do I do now? I mean, after she said that, what am I to do?
Well, you do nothing. She told you what was in her heart, didn't she? Just remember it. That's all that matters. John, I'm going to give you this advice absolutely free of charge and from the wisest man in the valley. There's not been a man or woman since the birth of time who has ever honestly thought themselves worthy of a child. And what's more, they're probably right. You asked me earlier if I believed in God, and I told you that God believes in me. Well, that's what I meant. In there, wrapped in love and blankets and astonishment, is proof of God's faith in us. He gives us children.
Well?
Well?
How was it?
Well, it certainly was complete, and that's no small accomplishment considering it's the only sequence we've actually finished all.
But how was it? Did the Duke like it?
He isn't smiling.
Oh, well, what does that prove? He doesn't have a machine gun trained on the stage either. And he's still in his seat, isn't he?
What's wrong? You seem upset. You were fine.
It seemed right, but, well, it wasn't dottore.
That was the best dottore I have ever seen.
I wasn't funny. You watched him. You watched the Duke. He never laughed.
No, but he wept.
Ah, so now we've become a company of tragedians.
I'm sure the sequence that was just performed may have surprised you, that the subject matter may have excluded a lighter treatment. Perhaps not, I don't know, but this much I do know, that we approached the birth of a single child in the wilderness more reverently than the birth of collective man in paradise.
Precisely my objection. Reverence isn't our attitude. We are comedians. People come to see us, shred pomposity, mock arrogance, expose ignorance.
Well, you may be right, but let us continue. After birth, life inevitably improves.
And the sequence?
Adolescence.
Don't come stomping around here now and scare the fish.
Ain't your fish no how, and you're scaring themselves the way you keep jiggling that line. Besides, I guess I can sit anywhere I pleases. It's a free country.
What in heaven's name are they speaking? That surely isn't English.
It's a dialect, I believe. Early American.
Ah, a dead language.
No. In some parts of the U.S., only slightly ill.
Why ain't you in school where you belong?
Why ain't you?
Because I don't have to, that's why.
Why not?
Because I got me galloping consumption, that's why. And my ma don't want me getting it all over the other kids at school.
What in tarnation is galloping consumption?
You're even dumber than most gals, ain't you? Why? The galloping consumption causes headaches and square toes and parrot fever and delicious tremors and who knows what all.
Is it fatal?
It ain't comfortable.
How did you get it?
Eating huckleberries, you know them green crawly things on huckleberry
Oh,
bushes.
you numbskull. Huckleberries ain't got no green crawly things on them.
Well, if you were so smart, where was you yesterday when I needed that information?
Oh, no. Did you lose them?
No, I'll just whistle for him later and he'll jump right back into my pocket.
I just bet your bait's wrong. What are you using anyway?
What else would I be using? Bloodworms, of course.
With fat slivers?
With what?
Fat slivers! Oh, no fish will go after plain old bloodworms, you nitty. Especially no Mississippi catfish. They're too particular.
Mississippi catfish than anything that ain't naturally bigger than he is. And sometimes double even tackle that.
Oh, Bilge, you know, it's a mighty good thing I come by when I did. I expect you'd be here till next spring. Now listen up, this is what you're gonna do. Go out to your pa's smokehouse, grab yourself a fat back, a hunk of it, and cut it into slivers, and then just wrap a sliver around the hook, high up before you put the worm on, and that fat just wiggles in the water. The catfish thinks the fat in the worm is one enormous hunk of worm, and he just goes right after it out of plain orneriness. He likes the challenge.
Where did our worldly, sophisticated Ruffiana get that information?
One wonders what our worldly Ruffiana was before, she became our Ruffiana. Look, he's smiling.
Ah, you reckon the Duke is fished for fat slivers? One wonders what the Duke was before he was a Duke.
Where in the world did a gal or anything useful like that?
Gals know a heap more than you think.
Well, is that so? Well, Lady Long Drawers, how do you get rid of warts?
Well, you take a potato, you cut it in half, you put half of it on the wart for a while, then you take the other half, cut it into 3 pieces, and bury each piece in different parts of the cemetery at midnight.
When?
When the moon's full. Any ninny know that.
I didn't know that.
And I don't wear long drawers neither.
Oh, no, sir, I ain't studying you. You are something, that's a fact. You want to smoke?
Sure. Why not? You got another pipe?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. What you smoking?
Dried corn silk.
Maple bark all cut and dried and shredded is better, but corn soup's good.
That's the Memphis Queen. Kept picking the stern wheeler on her way to Cairo. She'd be cutting to 68, I figured. She'll just turn her way down to Carter's Landing and pick up the current.
You sure know a heap about steamboats, don't you?
A heap. And I know a heap about you, too. Your name is Belle, and your pa's the blacksmith, and you hit Billy Lewis in the belly yesterday at recess.
That's right, that's me. And I know you too. You're that boy what snuck the Adams horse into the meeting house last week, tied a bonnet to his head, and left him there in the pulpit for Sunday services.
How'd you know that was me?
I know. I know how you're always drawing in your school books pictures of steamboats, you know. I also know how you kissed Sally Phelps behind the school last week, held her against the wall and kissed her twice.
Oh, you know too bland much, if you ask me.
What you getting so all fired up about anyway? I wouldn't snitch on you.
Swear.
I swear to a dead cat, I'll never snitch on you.
Well,
That good?
that's the good swear that is, cause then if you go tell on me now, you'll have 9 lives, each of them filled up with bad luck.
You know, you're really a terrible boy. You know that? Everybody says so. You're always lying and playing tricks on folks and God knows what all else. My pa says you ought to have a stick taken to your rump.
Well, did he now?
Yeah.
Well, you ain't no shrinking violet neither. My ma says you a scandal and a terror, and somebody better brush your bottom with a heavy hand, for you grow up with no more manners than a heathen savage.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me right enough. Got that right.
Why do you do such bad things? Why'd you hit Billy Lewis in the belly?
Because I couldn't reach his eye. Besides, he said I dressed like a rag picker.
Yeah, that's Billy right enough. Oh, going out about his fine clothes and delicate manners.
Yeah.
By Godfrey, I'll hit him in the eye for you the very next time I see him.
Are you? Oh, I appreciate that. Hey, why'd you kiss Sally Phelps?
None of your business.
Same reason I hit Billy?
No. Well, maybe. She needed kissing right enough. You know what she's like. Oh, choir singing and sitting up front at school, making such a big to-do about her ma being a lady and all. Well, I just had to find out how fine a lady she really was.
That's good, proper. She deserved it. But you ain't gonna break her heart now, are you?
I expect so.
You bad!
Darnation, what was that for?
Cause you're a no good hound dog, polecat person.
Oh.
Whatever.
Why?
You're bad.
What? Just because I kissed Sally
Oh.
Phelps? You hit Billy Lewis. I was more gentle.
Yeah, Billy Lewis. He sure knows I don't give a fig for him. All you did to Sally Phelps was mix her up.
What?
Would you kiss me?
Why, no. Why should I? I ain't mad at you.
You're a dimwit. Just kiss me.
Blend if I will. You got too good a right hand.
Oh yeah, you want to find out how good? Then you better kiss me. Oh, here.
There.
That the way you kiss Sally Phelps?
Ain't no other way of kissing that I ever heard of.
Ain't such a much.
Besides, this is like I told you. I ain't mad at you.
Ow!
Damnation! fishing the pool bells. What was that for?
That hurt?
Oh, I ain't practicing for the Saturday hoedown yet.
Now, are you mad now?
Oh, I ain't delirium with joy, damn it.
Then kiss me!
Great balls of fire, you ain't all there.
Yo!
Ow!
How?
I was wrong. Sally Phelps didn't deserve nothing like that.
I ain't gonna be able to walk without limping for a month of Sundays.
The dialect, the spirit, it's amazing. But where did Scapino learn so much about the Mississippi?
He knows nothing of the Mississippi, but he knows the poem, the rhyme, the saying, and now he knows Scapino.
Hey, you know the Crawfords?
Sure.
You know that outhouse, that brand new wood privy out back of their place?
Sure. It's a two-seater. Oh, they're mighty proud of that thing.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Crawford always pays it a visit just a little after dinner time. Let's wait till he gets in it. And then sneak on over there, rope up the door,
Yeah,
so as he can't get out.
Yeah, and then?
Yeah. Tip it over backwards.
With him in it?
Yeah, he won't be able to get out of the bottom or he'll fall into that pit.
You are something, that's a fact. Let's do it.
Hot dang. You think we're going to come to no good like the teacher says we will? If we keep on skipping school like this?
Oh, I don't reckon. Besides, there's more than one way to get an education.
Got that right.
Marriages are made in heaven, of love and a list of things, like 95 pounds of roses and matching platinum rings, with 14 lovely bridesmaids, with pale pink silk and laces, and matching gowns and similar crowns, and 14 identical faces. Marriages are made in heaven, of promises made on earth, where the odds of the marriage surviving depend on the wedding's worth. If when the bills are totaled, the father of the bride must sell his house and sublet his spouse, then everyone is satisfied. Then everyone is satisfied. For to leave them all impoverished, with neither hearth nor rafter, all the wise men agree that it's a sure guarantee that the lovers will live on whatever you give them, happily ever after, happily ever after.
You're late. It's now 8 minutes past the hour. Time is money.
Time is a publication, sir. Only money is money.
You brought the photographs?
Well, everything. A marriage broker isn't afforded the luxury of forgetting. Now, have you told your daughter yet?
Time enough when I see what you have brought. After all, a stretched canvas is not a masterpiece.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never stretched a canvas. But when it comes for eligible young husbands for your daughter, one had best remember, a hungry fisherman is content with eels.
If an eel is the best you can do for Matilda.
Oh, it's a figure of speech. An old Russian proverb. Old Russians inevitably have a supply of proverbs on hand. They use them as a substitute for logic. What I'm trying to say, Llewellyn, is that your daughter is not the most sought-after woman in the world.
Otherwise, would I be reduced to paying your exorbitant fee? But, in the sense of fairness now, you must admit that Matilda is a charming girl.
Oh, she is indeed. Of course, she still insists on eating her grapefruit with her fingers and her peas with her butter knife, but we all have our little eccentricities. Oh, chocolates, may I?
Please. Remember too that Matilda is also a remarkably level-headed girl.
So I'd noticed. I was going to suggest that perhaps a different coiffure might help.
And she was third in her class at Bryn Mawr.
And best of breed at Westminster. Really, Llewellyn, I am well aware of all of the young lady's assets, and I have emphasized all of her accomplishments to all of my available young men, and I'm afraid that only exhausted 10 minutes in every case. Of course, it would help immeasurably if you had her teeth fixed.
Her teeth?
Well, surely you've noticed she has 53. When she smiles, it's like a display of pearls at Cartier's.
My influence. I told her never to throw anything away.
And it would make my job so much easier if you would work on her posture.
Her posture is excellent.
Oh, come now, Llewellyn, be honest. The girl appears to be perpetually tying her shoelaces.
I'm not paying you to insult my daughter.
Well, there's no charge. I realize your daughter can be insulted for nothing.
You should be more considerate of my feelings. It's not easy being a father to Matilda.
Well, that's precisely my point. But it's much easier than becoming a father with Matilda. If I make myself clear.
Can you imagine when she first came home from school at 16, weeping because she didn't have an escort for the Christmas dance? Can you imagine my disgrace?
Why do I always pick a jelly? I hate jellies.
Of course, I managed to find an escort for her. The extremely handsome son of my second vice president. I suggested at a board meeting one afternoon that it might be nice if his son would invite my daughter to the dance.
And did they enjoy the dance?
Immensely. And the young man felt more than adequately recompensed as I paid and provided the funds for transportation, for tickets, refreshments, and a summer position in my mill.
Peppermint fudge.
It was such a satisfactory arrangement that Matilda has never since concerned herself for an escort on any occasion. She merely tells me what she wishes to attend, and I make all the arrangements.
Well, magnificent. But I would imagine you've exhausted quite the supply of vice presidents.
Oh, I diversified. There were other acquaintances equally ambitious and grasping. It became quite a favorite sport of mine. Mr. X, he wanted an invitation to join my club. His son John took Matilda to the horse show.
Did she place?
Well, since you're not sympathetic to the problems of a father, let us get on with the business at hand, shall we? Now, once I have committed these final arrangements, I shall have met my responsibility to Matilda. Where's the young man in question?
Oh, there. Right there. He doesn't like to have his picture taken, however. This was taken surreptitiously as he was hailing a cab on the street corner.
He doesn't appear to have a face.
That's the street lamp. Herbert is the skinny one.
Oh, yes. Now I see. Was he intoxicated? He appears to be listening to Starboard.
Nonsense. Herbert doesn't drink. Of course, the photographer was he smashed.
No, I don't think he'll be suitable.
Oh, come now, Llewellyn. Have a little sympathy for me. This is the 15th man you've rejected. It's not easy, you know, running around trying to assist destiny.
Why not? The fees you charge are astronomical. That's always a good reason for one to love one's work.
Well, that's unkind. And untrue. If you only knew. If you only knew how it crushes me, running around day after day, making marital arrangements between these insipid young fools without ever considering myself, my own strong passions.
Let's not be indiscreet, Lydia.
Well, it's true. You have no idea. I'm a woman too, you know. I have desires. I have appetites.
You certainly have.
And what am I forced to do? Make lasting unions between bloodless young men like Herbert, who collapses when left alone in a room with his mother, or clinging young things like Matilda, so dependent on her father for her every need that she never learns what it takes for a young woman to win a man for herself.
Oh, I think she has some idea. One can't shield one's daughter completely. There are always motion picture advertisements, poems scribbled in bathroom stalls.
While I, a red-blooded, passionate woman of discretion, I stand idly by, never having the time or the brazen attitude that it takes to win a mate for myself. Damn it! Am I unattractive?
I really can't tell. You've steamed my glass.
I drink no more than is necessary to thin the blood. I do not gossip about others unless, of course, they intend that I should when they tell me their secrets. I do not dress immodestly unless, of course, it's the latest fashion. So what's wrong with me?
Well, that is. I see no reason why you shouldn't be married, Lydia. You certainly are attractive in a robust Mother Earth sort of way.
I am. I most certainly am.
Perhaps our cases are similar. I spent so much time, so much energy, concentrating attention on Matilda that I never had the time to find another wife.
My case exactly. All of my time is spent in the adroit mismating of imbecile youth.
Our trouble, I think, is in our generous natures.
True. Very true.
We lavish so much in giving that we have never considered the wonders of receiving, and that is our due.
Long past due.
What if we do engage in self-pity upon certain occasions? Who has a better right?
Show me one. Just one.
It is only our great loneliness, due to our self-sacrifice, that causes us to spend so much time in cataloguing the forgotten dream, the unfulfilled promises.
Magnificently put.
Lydia! What's wrong with me?
Well, I have no idea. Have you seen a physician?
I mean, what's wrong with me as a husband?
How would I know? What did your first wife die of besides acute disappointment?
My point, Lydia, is this. Why don't you marry me?
Oh, Ellen. That's the sweetest thing that anyone's ever said to me.
Then you will. You'll marry me.
Of course. But what of Matilda? Should we arrange her marriage first?
Let her arrange her own marriage. If she'd only rise up off of that dead end of hers upon certain occasions and then perhaps tidy herself up a little.
Well, then goodbye, Herbert. If I ever meet a female street lamp, I'll let you know.
Aren't the ways of love strange, my sweet?
No stranger than people, Ducky.
Birth, adolescence, marriage, and then what is left for man to lie down his weary head and die? The history is almost complete. The sequence is death.
You asked to see me, priest?
Yes, Excellency.
You realize that a pardon is out of the question?
Of course. I did not come concerning a pardon.
And you understand that there's nothing I can do concerning a possible commutation of your sentence?
What I was hoping for, Your Excellency, was that you would just overlook and pardon.
No. The law is clear. You have been found guilty of preaching social upheaval, overthrow of the people's government. You have exploiting the ignorance and superstition of the poorer masses for your own material benefit. No. The penalty is death by firing squad.
I am aware of all that. I did not come to ask for mercy. But when you accuse me of social upheaval, I'm afraid that you are flattering me.
Really?
As I said at my trial, if you'll pardon the joke, I only preached against sin and corruption, never against the state.
Precisely the crime. When you preach against sin and corruption, you immediately move yourself into the field of politics. You would have been better confined in an area where the church is more effective. Social work, good manners, dances for the young people.
Well, you might be right, but in any case, it is still all the same. I always preached against greed and anger, lust, envy, or pride. And now the village abounds in greed, anger, lust, envy, and pride. If I had cried for free elections, an overthrow of the revolution, or liberation of the oppressed, I would only have succeeded in awakening a few parishioners who then would have complained to my bishop that I was desecrating the house of God.
Yes, amusing. To the point, priest, why did you ask to see me?
I was hoping that you might find someone to replace me.
You... Me?
That you would find someone to take my place.
I'll be damned.
Perhaps, but I did not come to talk shop either.
Priest, you are demented. You are a mental case. The world of science should really have a look into that brain of yours. I am a soldier, priest. A soldier. Do you understand what that means? By profession, I have dedicated my life to the obliteration of priests, not replacing them.
I understand there are no priests left. I am well aware of that. But what I had in mind was more of a catechist. Someone to teach the catechism, to baptize, console, and guide. Precisely what I had in mind, Excellency, was you.
You... Me?
Yes, I've given it a great deal of thought. You would be ideal, of course. Yes, I'm certain of it. It should be you.
You're blockhead. What arrogance! What immense pride! Now you hear me... I appreciate your little attempt at humor before you die. It's a tribute to your audacity, if not your intelligence. Imbecile! I am attuned to the slaughtering of men, not consoling them. I preach a baptism of blood, not water. I believe in free men, strong governments, not enslaved eunuchs and nebulous divinities.
Yes, I know. You'd be perfect. Is that water?
No, it is wine. Shall I send for some water?
No, this will suffice. Don't bother.
You drink?
Yes, and eat and sleep and think and pray. Only in the later circumstance do I differ from any other of my countrymen.
Yeah, you do not like to see a priest drink.
Before I was a seminarian, I was a human being.
One does not expect to see a priest drink. He is above other men.
No wonder we have so far to reach to touch anyone. Would it surprise you to learn, Excellency, that at one time I was an enormous liar, an egotistical boor, a sneak thief, a highwayman, in short, a man not above lifting a purse, a skirt, or a bottle.
You...
Yes, I am human, Excellency.
You disgust me. A priest should be above other men, better than us poor sinners. We should see the road to salvation by his light.
I tell you, we're not so remote, are we? I refuse to stay up on that pedestal that you've constructed for me, and you apparently refuse to sink into the blood and dust that you've created for yourself.
I will tell you something, priest. I was once of your faith. I have the highest respect for the priesthood, not necessarily for the priest.
We are not so remote. Tell me, Excellency, you're fighting a revolution. Why?
to win freedom for my people.
And then?
Then? Retire, probably. To the country, to a small farm, perhaps. Perhaps in my own hometown. To spend my days without KP lists, guard duty rosters, no command decisions, no firing squads, no dying.
Huh. Then you'll put yourself out of business. There will be no more need for soldiers.
Yes.
And I, Excellency, I am fighting a revolution too, to win all men to eternal peace. A peace where there will be no more need for priests. You and I, Excellency, we are dedicated to the same thing, self-destruction. And now, my poor parish in Bergonazia.
Where?
Oh, Bergonazia, that's where my parish is, you remember.
Damn your eyes, of course I remember. I was born in Bergonazia.
I know.
It was my hometown.
I know, I looked up your records in the church files. You were baptized Charles Ernst, and your sponsor was a lawyer, Maximino.
Oh, Maximino. Oh. Yeah, that son of a bitch. How is he?
No changes, I'm afraid. Still charging exorbitant fees, and then acting as both prosecutor and defense attorney.
And tell me, the butcher, old Farquhar, does he still...
Still sells 4 sausages and 1 thumb.
Nothing changes.
No, nothing. I'm afraid it is all my fault. I was not a very well commissioned officer.
What? You? What commission?
You remember, whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven. What sins you shall retain, they are retained. You remember.
I remember. You may be right. You were too weak for such a commission.
I tried, but the responsibility was immense for such small shoulders. What man could stand up to it?
A strong man. A man with cunning. A man with courage, intelligence. A military man could do it, by God. Someone who knows how to corner the enemy and throttle him, damn it!
But if the enemy changes shape or color, puts on a different armor every time, a new face.
You idiot! Any military man can tell you that the first rule of warfare is to know your enemy in any disguise, under any circumstance. Now, I'm afraid you are not too suited for such warfare. It takes a man with courage, a strong man, a man who lives for the glory of battle, for the trapping the enemy and kicking his...
Someone like you, perhaps.
No.
When you get to the parish house, you might find the church records in some disarray. There is a caretaker nearby, an old man and a fool, but loyal. He will show you where everything is.
No.
It is almost on. I have an appointment, you understand. But somehow I feel I have found success through my failures. Who knows? Only God, surely. Well then, give my best to the parish, won't you? And when you cross the lake, say hello to the boatman there. And you might just join him in song that they sing some evenings. When you come to the end by the 7 pines, you recall. Death is not such a terrible thing. Sing ho for the fruit of the vine. Death is not such a terrible thing. Sing ho for the fruit of the vine.
It's just a door to the eternal spring. Sing ho for the fruit of the vine.
The season of the grape and the glasses cling. Sing ho for the fruit of the vine. The vine. Sing ho for the fruit of the vine.
How was I? Magnificent. Into eternity singing like hell.
Oh, and the Duke!
He's in the wings by the tormentor. He is delighted. He said he'll provide the money. We can go home.
After the play is over.
Oh, but the play is over, darling.
Is it? There's a strange feeling. We can go home, we knew it, the Duke didn't have to tell us. But there is something else. A feeling that we need to play out another scene or two.
Or many more. I feel an eternity of scenes I want to play out.
Exactly. The audience, not just the Duke. Out there, did you hear them? Oh, we've recaptured more than what we've lost. We are not only a company again, we are not only a troupe again, but we are comedians. Your Royal Dukeship, kind sirs and gentlemen, we hope this evening's performance has not ended indecisively for you. You can go home now. Only you may go now. As for us, we feel that maybe there's many more scenes to be played out. We hope that our acting was not too great an embarrassment. We hope our groping manner of play was not a distraction. If you enjoyed what you saw, please tell a friend, but do not single out one player for your praise. Rather, look at us as la compagnie de santi ostinati, or rather, a company of wayward saints.